This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. You have tuned into Radical Riddimz on this blessed Sunday afternoon with your girl Princess Playa and
BNJI, Brother Benji.
Brother Benji, right here on this kind of gloomy Sunday, rainy,
light
rain. It's gloomy.
But the sun is shining. The sun is shining.
It's shining somewhere. We just can't see it.
The Son of Jesus is shining.
Oh, the Son of God.
The Son of God.
Okay.
The Sonship of Christ is in the building.
As always, we are here with our antics and having fun and just keeping you entertained. Every Sunday from 3 until 5 p.m. right here, where we're bringing you the Radical Riddimz, the gospel, reggae, dancehall, soca, afrobeats, calypso, and also some chatting and talking and all that stuff. So we got some stuff that we're going to talk about today. Some interesting things we're going to be talking about. But before we get into that, we're going to start the show off right here on SPRLIVEFM.com with none other than my favorite gospel artist. Who's my favorite gospel artist, Benji?
Kirk Franklin. I'm only bugging. Kirk Franklin is one of them, but her number one.
No, Kirk Franklin is not one of them.
He's not on your top 10?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
We'll talk off the air, as you say. We talk off the air. But her favorite gospel artist, if you don't know, for sure. If you don't know.
Fred Hammond. This is the day, because this is the day. SPRLIVEFM.com.
Turn it up! Yeah! Oh, just clap your hands like that. Just clap your hands like that. Yeah! Let's wake up the church with this old school chant. Shout to the Lord in here. You know that He's good and His mercy endures forever. And the people of God said, they said, what the? And the people of God said, yeah. The people of God said, yeah. Now we serve notice to depression, confusion, all manner of evil and every sickness. You came in a bind, but you cannot stay calm. The people of God, we ain't having it. It's a good day, even though I cried last Tuesday and I was out of cash by Friday. No matter what comes next, I'm gonna stand up and give Him the praise, 'cause this is the day. See the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. Oh, y'all know that one, don't you? Come on and say it. I go follow. Oh, Iggy, you are the only God. I go praise your name. Jehovah Rapha, now you be my healer. I'm gonna jump back, now you I go follow. Oh, Iggy, you are the only God. I go praise your name. So I go praise your name. I go praise your name. Oh, Baba, oh, Baba, oh. Hey, I go praise your name. You do me well, oh, Baba, oh, Baba, oh. Hey, Jehovah Jireh, you can provide for me. Hey, you know they tell me, oh, if not before you, Papa, wherefore they see when enemies surround me, oh, you show your power, oh, you come lift me up, you don't bless my life. So I go praise, Papa, do me something, oh, Papa, oh, if not you, where I forget, you don't lift me up, oh, I just go, higher, oh, somebody, come on, jump in crazy. I go worship your name, one now, Chukwa Goziwo, Oshe Baba. Now you, Baba, you too much. I go praise your name. Hey. Oh, Goziwo, you too much, Baba. I go praise your name. Thank you, Jesus, for the things you have done for me, for my family, for everybody around me. Too much. I go praise your name. Life has not been easy. My head growing busy. I cannot see clearly. This is crazy. Papa, can you hear me? I've been praying. I know you did. Please come and save me. Father, you are bigger than the mountains, the storms that I face. Cause in you made it, so take your finger, jump ever and pray. Now and forever I will trust you, God. Cause I know that you love me. Won't let me go. You're in the details of everything I've faced, working behind the scenes, turning it for my good. In every situation, your word prevails. Papa, you never fail me. I know you can. Father, you are bigger than the mountains and storms that I face. Cause in you made it, so take your finger, jump ever and red. Now and forever I will trust you, God. Cause I know that you love me. Won't let me go. Communicating the gospel through music and spoken word via the internet. Streaming Praise Radio.
SPRLIVEFM.com. Radical Riddimz. We're here until 5 p.m. Yes, your taste of grace in cyberspace. Canada's first gospel internet radio station. Toronto's first internet radio station.
Say that 10 times
we
faster.
are here. No, because I know the first time I say it, I'm just going to be tongue-tied. So today is going to be an interesting day. But before we get into the interesting stuff, I'll tell you the topic that we're going to talk about. So you want to stay with us. We're going to be talking about divorce in the church, pastors specifically divorcing and the effects it has in the church and other things. It's going to be a hard topic and discussion today. So those of you who want to send me, all right, mind your choke, guy. Those of you who want to send me messages, those of you who are still waiting for our Radical Riddimers in the chat to come in. If you want to come into the chat, come to YouTube and see our beautiful faces today. Our YouTube channel is Streaming Praise Radio. Subscribe and like and come and chat with us.
You see the beautiful lady wearing her Black Panther shirt.
Yeah.
And I wear my double D.
Nice. So before we get into that topic, we're going to play music before we get into that topic. But I wanted to play something that I saw on Instagram yesterday. Andrew Wiggins got traded to the Golden State Warriors. He's an NBA basketball player, Canadian, Jamaican.
Canadian, just a Canadian, I'm done.
Why?
We know he's born in Canada. Parents are Jamaican. We know that.
Who knows that, Benji?
You just told him that.
But you said just say Canadian.
Yeah. Canadian born.
He's Canadian, Jamaican, and he's one of the players. If you don't know, NBA is doing the same thing that a lot of countries are doing, forcing people to, giving them ultimatums in order to take the vaccine. Let me not use the word force. So there was a press conference, and Andrew Wiggins had to answer some questions. And you know how some of these reporters can get, but I just want to share how this young man handled some of these questions. Like, true, him have the blood. So listen as we play it. Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulties.
We'll find it, man. We'll find it.
I think it might be hard to play it.
No, we're gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it this
Okay.
way.
While Benji finds it, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it was something that I just liked him being straight up. I know that he and Kyrie Irving are two. You have it ready there? Mm-hmm. Okay. So here it is.
Vince, what's the reason for not just explaining what you believe?
It's none of your business. That's what it comes down to, you know.
Oh, you have to hit that. Yeah.
I don't ask you guys what your beliefs. I don't ask you guys what you think is right or wrong. You know, we're different people. It can be like parenting. Like, you know, some people shed their beliefs onto their children. Some people let their children to grow up and believe what they want to believe. You know, who are you guys where I have to explain what I believe, or, you know, what's right or what's wrong? In my mind, we're two totally different people. You know, what you think is not what I think. What I think is not what you think.
Andrew, we're trying to help you tell mass audiences why you apparently haven't done that, taken a vaccine. Does that make sense? What we're trying to give you a voice here.
You know, I'll say something when I'm ready. You know, the only thing the media has done is kind of make it bigger than it has to be. So, like I said, I'll say my side of everything when I'm ready. You know, I don't work on y'all's time, I work on my time, you know.
In terms of bigger than it has to be, I mean, you stand to lose a lot of money.
You know, and it's my problem, not yours.
Okay.
That's it. That's so you. The ending of it gives me jokes when she says, you stand to lose a lot of money, and he's like, well, it's my problem, not yours. And she's like, okay.
I just have to just say this, and this is my only comment, and I left it on her Instagram. It's his business. It's his choice. Next question.
That's what it is. And when he said the media is making it a bigger issue than it is,
which is correct.
It's true. It's like, why are you so fixated, fascinated, and just focus? Yeah. He's a ball player. We're talking about basketball. We're getting into the season. They're getting ready for, starting up the first season soon. They're getting into the pre-game season and all that stuff. And they're talking to him about the vaccine. And when it was about 10 minutes long. And in the beginning, he said, you know what? He's just going to keep that stuff, personal, and just not really talk about that. And they kept coming back to it.
That's the media for you, man.
I was like, what? The man kept saying, like, how much time? And then the thing is, the questions, like that last question, you stand to lose a lot of money. He's been playing for how many years now? He has got a fair amount of money, a good chunk of change.
That's what I don't know how much money he makes. But
oh my God.
It's none of your business. Like jokes aside, me and Princess Play were joking around. I was saying about who's on your top 10 list of gospel music. We know Kirk Franklin's not her cup of tea. I'm joking. So if she likes Fred Hammond, I can't force Kirk Franklin on her. That's the end of the day. If she likes Fred, she likes Fred. Let's just keep the lines moving. I'm not going to put Kirk and say, oh, you got to like Kirk because Kirk came out what you're looking for, more than conquerors, Ray, blah, blah, blah.
I understand where you're going.
Yeah, but leave it alone. Leave people alone.
It's a little bit different, but I understand where you're going.
I'm just breaking it down simple for people to understand. At the end of the day, we have freedom and choice. Let us just go with that. I don't understand how something went from, okay, you told people voluntarily to take the vaccine. Now you're going to force or mandated, the big word for force, mandated. Let people go if they want to take it. If he wants to lose half of his paycheck, that's on him, not you. Because at the end of the day, he sleeps well at night. I hope she sleeps well at night, that media lady.
Because I heard that apparently, in listening to the 10-minute interview, that the issue is that he wouldn't be able to play at home games. He could play at some away games because I guess a lot of the teams, and it varies by city, this whole mandate thing, by state.
That's where they said to Kyrie too.
So, I mean, is Kyrie on Golden State?
Kyrie's on the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay, yeah. So, he's still there.
Still there.
Okay. So,
and this is that's second season with the Golden State Warriors.
That's the issue. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, he's saying that we'll see what happens, what they decide. He, in the interview, it's interesting, in the actual 10-minute interview, although you heard how his response was, what I gather is that he is of the stance that it is my choice. I should be able to get the choice, not you make the choice for me, right? He's not against taking it. He's just, I'm against you forcing me. And he wants to be able to reserve his right to be able to make that choice. Because, and one of the interviewers said that, back in, I guess it was the bubble last year, he had said that when it comes down to it, if he has to take it, then he'll take the vaccine. That's what he said. Wiggins had said, Andrew Wiggins. And he was like, yeah, he's like, if it comes down to that, whatever, but, I want to be able to make that choice.
See how media is? They remember that, and they threw that back in his face.
I mean, they brought it up for clarity to say, okay, I think giving him a chance to be able to say that he's not totally like dead set. He was never dead set. It's the choice, because it's not black, and this whole thing is not black and white. It's not, oh, you're anti-vaxxer, you're pro-vaxxer. It's not that. There are people that genuinely have reservations for health reasons, or they're just not used to their body getting foreign things in it. Some people eat healthy, vegans, people don't eat meat, they don't eat stuff with hormones in it, you know, they eat a pretty clean life, and they don't want to go and get stuff injected to them that, you know, they're opposed to. There are so many different reasons why people don't want to, and it should be a choice, you know. And that's what I think that is missing from the conversation.
That's life in general.
Well, yes, it's life in general, but we're talking about vaccines. That is what's missing from this particular conversation, because people are more so just focused on, anti-vaxxers, pro-vaxxers, we're working together to stop this. You have to get vaccinated to work together. It's like, nah, hold on, pause for a second, yo. Like, I'm a little bit concerned, you know, or you know what? I've had it already. Why do I need to take it if my body has already built up a defense against it? What, you know, I don't know if I'm ready yet, you know, because a family member, close family member, this happened to them. I don't want it to happen to me. So there are various reasons, but it should be ideally a discussion and a choice, but right now it is not, and it's very an uncomfortable moment in time for a lot of people.
Leave people alone, man.
It's causing a lot of division in homes and families, at workplaces, in schools for young people too, you know, high schoolers. I feel it for them, because you know, they're in that middle range now, that they're only allowed to take one vaccine, which is Pfizer, but then should they take it? Should they not? And it's like, are you vaccinated? Are you not? And you don't know if parents are going to tell their kids, you know what, don't hang out with anybody that doesn't have it. And it's a very impressionable time for high schoolers. So it's so uncomfortable right now, very uncomfortable. But I liked the way that Wiggins handled himself. And, you know, people too fast. You risked losing a lot of money. And that's my problem, not yours. And then we can straight up told the guy, it's none of your business. That's just how it is. That's why I haven't said anything, because it's none of your business. A smart person
would have left the conversation and all, but that's all media is. They like to poke the bear.
Yeah.
He could have easily got up from that podium and walked away.
Listen, let me tell you something. Wiggins could have dealt with it Jamaican style.
No, forget the Jamaican style.
That's what he could have done.
The business and walked away from the podium, that was it.
He could have done that, but he also could have handled it Jamaican style.
And what is that way?
Tell them straight where to go.
You already told them already.
No, that's not Jamaican style.
Well, do the Jamaican impression, though. I'm asking you why you're not taking the vaccine, Wiggins.
No, I can't do it on air. There's a Christian radio station.
Well,
I
you
can't
have to
do it
say the
on air.
words.
No, you know what Jamaican style is.
He's not gonna
when we get vexed, whatever, we deal with it a certain way.
There's a way.
Unprofessional, and that's what I'm saying. He handled it very professionally and straightforward.
Let's make a disclaimer. There's Jamaican people out there who know how to pretty up their words and disrespect you in a good way.
I know.
What are you using those colorful words?
Didn't say any. You brought up colorful words. I'm just saying we're on a Christian radio station. I don't want to go there. I'm just saying we all know how it can be handled in a Jamaican way, unprofessional. And so he could have handled it that way, but he didn't. He stayed there and he answered them and he told them straight, it's none of your business, and it's my problem, not yours. And I appreciate that he handled it like that and that he spoke like that to them. And that's that.
That is a proper way to do it.
So,
regardless, Canadian or Jamaican, that is just me saying that.
And that's fine. I'm just saying he could have handled it that, not that he should have. He could have, but he didn't. And that's good that he handled it instead of walking and leaving. That's not the answer either. So, he handled it. He handled it the best way he did.
He should have just walked away.
No,
I would have said
answering opens up a discussion, and that's what he did, because he actually showed he was there for a press conference. He wasn't afraid of them. That was something else in that small clip. It didn't show, because he said, "No, I'm not afraid of these answers." Like, he let them know he's not afraid. I'm not uncomfortable. No,
I would have said none.
You know, he told them straight.
You know, find me afterwards.
That's that.
My people business alone.
So you are listening to SPRLIVEFM.com, Radical Riddimz, always chatting and talking about different stuff. So we're going to get back into some music. What's up?
I have my one finger in the air for one reason. Before she goes on air, Blue Jays have to win one game, and we're going to the playoffs.
We have to win one game. What is that? A wild card game?
Yes, we're going to the wild card. If we sweep Baltimore today, we're going to the playoffs. Depends if Boston
If we
lose.
sweep them today, you mean if we win the game today?
So we win the game today, because we're already around the 2 games already. The mathematics goes like this. If Blue Jays win, Boston loses, and Yankee loses, it's a 3-way tie, then we go into the wild card, and then we have a playoff game. 1-game playoff. That's how it goes.
Okay, 1-game playoff, you mean 1-game wild card?
It's not a wild card yet. It'll be
Okay.
all the records will be the same for the Yankees and Boston and Blue Jays if according to that.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So let's get back into some music. We're gonna hear this rhythm that has been playing for a few weeks now. Joshua Ali's Wonder Woman medley. Starting off with, you know what? I'm gonna mix it up a little bit.
Wow.
I was gonna start it off with Ayana, but I'm actually gonna start with Nigella. Is that how you spell it?
Nigella, yes.
Nigella, Samantha Johnson, Nisha Woods, Ayana Solomon, and Nisa. Right here on SPRLIVEFM.com, Radical Riddimz.
All things are new again, new wine and skins again. I choose to live again. Here I come back once again. I will never give up. If I fall, I get up. It's just something about me. And I don't have no shame when you're calling my name. Say what you want about me. I just keep it moving, keep my head up on the cross. Cause when I was down, you gave me a song, and I will continue on. Again and again, I come back again. I fall down again, and I get up again. Jesus is the same, his name I proclaim. Again and again, the clouds are moving, the sun come out again. There's joy that inside of me, like I'm born again. My heart it's beating, moving like a choo-choo train. All things are new again, new wine and skins again. I choose to live again. Here I come back once again. Say I slipping, and some say I tripping, another say I sinning. I see she's sinning, and who say you're faking? You're good for nothing, but I keep on fighting. I keep on fighting. I come back again, and I get up again. Jesus is the same, his name I proclaim. The clouds are moving, the sun come out again. There's joy that inside of me, like I'm born again. My heart it's beating, moving like a choo-choo train. All things are new again, new wine and skins again. I choose to live again. Here I come back once again. G-A-I-N, again, again and 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 again.
I wish we could have come here, but we can't. And I wish that we had no fear. So we dance, stuck on the inside, missing the outside, wishing freedom will come again. Cause inside there's not growing, and we got too much energy. So this what you gonna do for me? When you hear me on the radio, and when you know the outside, jump on the fence and climb up the tree and up on the roof and wave. We grateful for life, yeah. And when you put on your best and don't wash your face, shake up the stress, shake up the place and burn. Make we come alive and behave like we in the city. We jump like in the city, we wave like in the city, praise like in the city, we dance like in the city, sing like in the city, we win like in the city. Don't you know that this is the city? Oh God, I know we had a tough year, but we blessed. Daddy, he promised that he would take care. Say less, forget the problems, we now don't worry, we gon' be grateful every day. Inside is not away, we got too much energy. So this what you gonna do for me? When you hear this on the radio, oh you know the outside jump on the fence and climb up the tree and up on the roof and wave. We grateful for life, yeah. And when you put on your best and don't wash your face, shake off the stress, shake up the place and burn. Make we come alive and behave like in the city. And we jump like in the city, we wave like in the city, yes we dance like in the city, we praise like in the city, sing like in the city, and we wave like in the city. Don't you know that this is the city? Side is not for we want, side is not for no, side is not for moving and stopping me, side is not for me. We go down in the yard, up on the fence, side of the road, turn up your radio, bring the tenant come, we don't need that side, up in the streets, up on the road. I want you to put on your best and go back, shake off the trap, shake off the place and burn. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, that's right in the city, we work like in the city, we praise like in the city, we nice like in the city, love like in the city, Lord like in the city, we win like in the city, from today
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can enjoy an inspirational word, commentary, special interviews, and a whole lot of gospel music from Streaming Praise Radio, SPR Live.
Hey, welcome to GOD Radio, the home of dancehall gospel. In studios we have with us today DJ Nicholas. But we're not on the line chat. DJ, what are you gonna do for us today?
Well, send the rhythm or bend the rhythm. Give me the real rhythm. Don't pretend the rhythm. Me, I got pick me two thing. I don't friend the devil, and I don't friend the rhythm.
Booyaka, booyaka! DJ Nicholas, you're the real wild lad when it comes to spiritual rhythms, aren't you?
If I rhythm or a cappella, me rebuke any Lucifer fella. Them could have fling darts like rain. Me just draw for me spiritual umbrella.
Umbrella. Hey, I'm sorry. But DJ Nicholas, the anointing, yes, they got it.
You have to understand, say, once the anointing you got it, and the Bible you chat it, and the devil head you just had it in plan, them you just shot it. Your garment try spot it, and your high no forgot it, or else when you're dead you go think you're gone to heaven, but when you wake up it's really not it.
But Nicholas, this rhyming thing, I'm foolish, innit?
Fooling what? Whether we teach or instill rhyme or pan spot we build rhyme or is one or a mill rhyme, we tell the truth, we no pill rhyme, man and day rhyme, no jack jill rhyme, and we no support no farmer fish, not even gill rhyme. And once our soul forget safe, I will never stop, I always will rhyme.
Hey, so I guess you're still DJ Nicholas on the shout out. The big mouth.
You know you're the loud mouth yet? Logos around, hear my sound, preach it and dilute it through the town. What them say?
All right, Nicholas. I'm sorry. But tell me, let's get a bit personal now. Are you a Sabbath keeper, or do you go to church on Sundays to worship? Huh?
Well, whether Saturday or Sunday, anyway, the spirit there, you know, this a fun day, and the enemy have to go run where we done with all the ganja and the gun day.
So, let me know, Nicholas. As a man of God, how do you minister to your wife?
I'm a minister to her. Me look pan her and say, nice daughter, beg you some ice water. The way me love you, if we have one plate of food, mother just get the whole of the meat and take the rice part. From the day me ice caught you, I saw that you was a nice daughter because you accept Jesus in your life and baptized in a Christ water.
But DJ Nicholas, you're the real man of God, the spiritual wild. Alright, Nicholas, we just want to thank you for coming to the studios. And until next time we meet, we just want to say, peace out.
Yes.
DJ Nicholas, I just saw with the big mouth.
You know I had to play that.
DJ
You know
Nicholas.
I had to play that. You're listening to SPRLIVEFM.com. This is Radical Riddimz. Let me tell you something. For the last few weeks, I've been just on this DJ Nicholas tip, and I said I was going to play this small snippet from his album, Louder Than Ever. He's having a radio interview. You know you're big mouth. You know you're the big mouth.
Look, I said about read my word.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, and I shared my experience when I first saw DJ Nicholas in concert, and my mouth was open. I didn't realize until like a few minutes into his performance that I was still in mid-clap with my jaw drop because I could not believe. Yeah, I was like this. Just watching him going right to left, right up and down, right to left. It was a sight. It was a sight. Oh my goodness. But yes, I said I was going to play that, and yeah, I played it for y'all.
Jay Nicholas on
so big. But I want to big up my Radical Riddimers who are on Streaming Praise Radio, the YouTube channel. Thank you for coming in.
the book authors in the house.
Big up
The
Sister Shireen, who is DJ Nicholas's cousin.
Book authors in the house. Stacy's in the house.
Sister Faye, Stacy, my girl, Destiny. Yes, I see you. I don't see DJ Anna's. Big up Craig.
Craig McKenzie.
I see you. Thank you so much for joining in. So
DJ Nicholas on the shot with the big mouth.
So as we had said earlier, that we're gonna get into a very, very hot topic right now.
It's a must.
So
it's a must.
The topic of the day topic for right now, because there's gonna be a couple topics on this particular thing. It's on the church, divorce in the church, specifically when your pastor gets divorced. So now there are different dynamics that happen when we have that breakdown in the house of God where the pastors get divorced. I remember when Paula White and her husband,
Randy.
Randy White of Walls Church in Tampa, when they announced that they were getting divorced. And I remember reading an article. Actually, it wasn't necessarily an article. I think it was somebody actually sharing, because they were at the church. They had a live stream at the time, because they were, they had their online presence, and then they shut it down because they wanted to address the congregation, just the congregation. And I heard there were people in the stairwells, there were people in different rooms afterwards bawling. And I understand it can hurt. It can hurt. It does hurt the congregation when the pastor and the pastor's wife divorce, and they say that, they've done all they can, they can't stay together. And I remember feeling it for them, and I prayed for the congregation, because I said, this is hard, and I hope that it doesn't cause them to find another church where they see a husband and wife. Doesn't mean that it's going to it doesn't have to affect anything in the church. It's just a different dynamic. It's not going to be the same as it was before. Doesn't mean it can't be better. It just be different, But I understood the feelings behind it, But then in going to a church where, you had your pastor, who was female, my former pastor was female, and she got married, but then it's like, where's the husband after a while? Where was he? So it kind of leaves, a kind of bad example or something like that. I don't know.
Sirens are going off in your head?
The
sirens were going off in your head?
Sirens, and it was kind of disheartening, because you do want to see the example. I was younger, so I want to see that example of a couple leading a church, but then he was there for like a couple months and then wasn't around, and to this day I don't know what happened. So everybody was like kind of talk, and nothing was said from the pulpit, right? So that was another dynamic. Nothing was said from the pulpit. I at least admired Paula White and Randy White for coming together on the pulpit and addressing their congregation. And they did it without cameras or whatever. They said, you know what, this is our time with our congregation. We're going to do it together and talk to them, about what's going on. And you know what, in all honesty, I remember Paula White coming to our church in the 2000s a couple of times for our conference, and she would talk about the crazy things she would do, because she and her husband would fight, and she never was quiet about that, never. So it never really surprised me that they got divorced, but what hurt me was the way that the congregation received it, handled it, and I understood, and I empathized with them. Now fast forward to 2021, and actually 2008, around there, and the church that I went to, my pastors went through separation, and I remember it was never spoke of from the pulpit, and it was hard, because everybody had the little side something saying, okay, where's First Lady? Where is she? She's not here. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Everybody's talking, nothing's being said from the pulpit. Like, Benji, what do you think about that? When stuff like that happen, not getting to divorce yet, say, the First Lady is not there at the church, and you're hearing that stuff have gone on and there is separation. Do you think it is the pastors and those in Radical Riddimz, you guys can chime in as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's on the pastors or the pastor to at least say something to the congregation? Do you think that something should be said?
He has to, because go back to this scenario that you mentioned with your previous pastor, how the husband was there, and all of a sudden he's not doing. So you have that sirens going off in your head. You don't want to say woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
If you're leading your flock,
yeah,
you need to be straight up with your flock. You can't just. I know if you want to keep it private, that's between, I don't know, but you have to. The onus has to. You have to tell your congregation.
Yeah,
say,
at least something,
at least
right?
At least say something. You don't have to go the whole dynamics of what's going on to say, Pastor Jack and Lady Jill. Unfortunately, Lady Jill and I are separated, and That's it.
We're trying to work out something.
Whatever. We're going to keep us in your prayer. If you want to go on a 2-day prayer or 3-day prayer, this is the time to pray. Instead of having these sirens going off your congregations, because that's when the enemy is going to start creeping in, putting doubts in people's heads, saying, okay.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Like there should be something said. Something should at least be said from the pulpit, because it leaves everybody unsure of what's happening. And everybody's having these discussions when they genuinely care, Sister Shireen says, yes, it shows they are not hiding but being transparent, asking the congregation to keep them in prayer. Yes. And I think it brings transparency, and it also brings the pastors, because without you even realizing it, you do put the pastors up on a pedestal of some sort, right? So it brings them down, it humanizes them, and you realize that, wow, I need to be praying more for them than I have been, or this is not as solid as I thought it was, so I feel that it is necessary for a pastor to speak for the congregation. Now, when it gets to divorce, Benji, when it gets to that point,
commercial break, put on your safety belt.
When it gets to that point,
divorce. Turbulence are kicking in. Turbulence.
When it gets to that point of divorce, do you feel that the pastor and his wife should address the congregation together? Or do you think that it's okay if the pastor speaks to the congregation on behalf of his wife?
I'm thinking right now. I think. No, I don't think. I think. Let's say I think, because if I think it's just going to put another.
You think?
You should. He should.
You think?
They should. If you want to be straight up with your congregation, because if you're leading these people, you're guiding your spiritual parents, and like don't put them on a pedestal, but you have the obligation to keep it 100 with your flock.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you, should the pastor and his wife address the congregation, or can the pastor address the congregation on behalf of his wife?
No. It'd be better if both of them go up there, like what Randy and Paula did.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay, Sister Shireen, you say together. Diane, big up. One of my good friend and good sister friend. You cannot be leading from the Bible and not being honest. It is the responsibility of the pastors to let the congregation know what is going on. Okay, now, next question. So now that they're getting divorced, should there be a time of sitting down? Should they be sat down? What would you, okay, so if pastors are separated and now they're announcing divorce, what would you expect to have happen that led up to the divorce? Do you think that they should have been seeking every avenue, like what do you call it,
work it out,
therapy, counseling, and all that?
Working it out.
Yeah. Who do you think should have been counseling them? You think they should have got professional or pastoral counsel?
Both. Go with both. Have spiritual parents. Like every pastor should have somebody accountable to. Nothing wrong with Jesus and theory put together. Nothing wrong with that. So go to them for guidance.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah.
Like I'm struggling in this area. What should I do? And then take it from there.
Yeah. Sister Faye says, yes, situations like pastoral divorces need to be addressed in the pulpit to stop the ugly gossip.
Yes.
Just request prayer, and they should stand together even if they are going their separate ways. Yeah. I
agree with that.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
You don't really have to tell the congregation why you're divorcing. You're just divorcing. Because if you tell the dynamics of the divorce, where the case may be, then
sets you up.
Then that's gonna set up congregation. Okay. Should I take Jack's side or should I take Joe's side?
Okay, so
what's Diane saying? Pastors that are
open about these issues, no matter what is going on, will be an encouragement to other couples. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it isn't. Yes, it's very true. I've seen where people have been very transparent about what was going on, and it causes, and you know what? when they've already been transparent, I find it makes it easier to come to the congregation and tell them what has happened when they've already not been that perfect pastor. They've already talked about not perfect and nobody's perfect and haven't carried themselves like they're perfect. You know, it makes it easier for a pastor to be able to come in front of his congregation and say, look, my marriage has failed. We're getting a divorce.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, like I said, you don't have to tell them the dynamics of the divorce, but be straight up.
Now,
Like
now, when it comes to, with what you just said, you don't have to tell them the dynamics. When it comes to abuse, do you feel the dynamics should be
that's
stated?
No, that's between them two. That's between them two, because now, if Jack tells this congregation, says, okay, you know what, the reason for my divorce with Jill is that, quote unquote, I abused her, then that's when everybody's gonna take, of course, everybody's gonna lean on Jill's side now, because she's the one who's getting abused by Jack.
I wouldn't say, of course.
That's how people are. They're gonna take sides.
They can take sides, but when you admit those things, there are people who will be like, you made a mistake, you did that, what are you doing right now? You know? Yes, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know, the first lady pastor's wife, she went through this, but what are you doing right now as pastor? If you've abused her, what are you doing? I think that is the more mature thing to look at. What is it that you are doing? Yes, there are people that will say, but I'm siding with this lady. Yeah. But what the mature thing to do is say, okay, you did this. When last did you do it? Like, what are you doing to get better? You know, how can we ensure that you're not going to do this again? You know, who are you accountable to that you are able to do this? You know, this has been going on the whole time. Like, what? You know? So there are comments coming in.
Sister Fanny says he abused. He needs to be sit down for a minute for things to settle.
Yes. So he needs, but the thing is, that's if they find out about the abuse. This is the thing.
No, before we say any confessional to our congregation,
must address the church, because if only one does, then it subconsciously leads to a division. Okay. Both of them should address the banging on the table.
Exactly, Diane. I agree with Diane.
Yeah, both of them should, because it could lead to division if one addresses the congregation. Yes. And Sister Faye says
do you think
he needs to be sit down for a minute for things to settle if he abused? So Sister Shireen says, do you think he should step down for a while? You know what? Stepping down with no help, with no therapy or counseling, doesn't matter. You might as well continue to preach. I like Diane's answer right there. That's a Bible answer right there. Read it. What she says.
She says, I believe that both should sit down, allow assistant pastors or elders to lead the congregation for a time. If reconciliation occurs, great. If divorce is the result, then they are there to guide.
Yes.
Number one answer.
That's fair.
That is Bible right there.
That's fair.
That is from the book of James right there.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. You're just talking divorce in general.
Yes.
That's what should happen. Yes.
But in the case of before we confess our faults to the congregation, number one person you should tell your thing to, then you can tell the congregation, make sure God knows.
That's a given. They're pastors.
Oh, no, there's some pastors who don't, if this happened, no, they can put on a good mask and cover it up and say everything's nice.
But that's a different element now. Yeah. You're talking about denial. We're not talking about denial yet. That's a different situation. Mm-hmm. You're coming into something else because denial and not fessing up, that speaks to some serious issues now. That's a serious issue. Mm-hmm. But that's a given, because you ultimately should be going to God. But what we're talking about is a practical side of things, where you are, in terms of abuse. Yes. How is it if I'm asking you, because you had said that you don't have to come to the congregation and say, okay, who should you tell that the abuse has been there? Who would know about this?
The assistant pastors and your elders.
Okay. And therefore, if they know about this, then they should have the pastor sit.
Yes. They have to call like a board of directors per se. Your
Right.
board of directors will say, okay, you know what? On that note, Pastor Jack, I think you should be not really silent. You could still come to church, but you're not going to be doing the active. You're not going to be giving the congregation any
The sermon or anything.
preaching or teaching. You could still come to service, but you're going to be set.
Yeah.
To a certain period of time. When we think you get the right help, go outside to get your therapy, or if you have a spiritual parents that you can talk to. When if we think the dust has settled and ready to go, we'll put you back on pulpit.
Yeah.
But
it's very because when you become a pastor, it's no longer it's a sacrificial life. It's a life of sacrifice, and you are continuously you have to be an open book somewhat, you know. And I think it's the responsibility of the pastor, because you have to treat your congregation almost like you're treating your children, because they're your spiritual children. That's a lot of people look to a pastor as their spiritual father. So when you're shaking your head, you disagree?
I don't think you should treat your congregation like your children, and your children like your congregation. I don't know if that's what you said, but you said something similar.
They're your spiritual children.
Yeah.
You treat them somewhat like your children.
Somewhat.
Yeah. In that, it's a family. You're dealing with a family,
yes, a
right?
Family dynamic.
You can't keep them in the dark.
Exactly.
You have to talk to them. It's the same dynamic with your children. You're not leaving them in the dark. You have to explain to them something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's going on? Like what's going on?
So it's the same dynamic, right? These are your spiritual children. You're leading them. So when you're talking to them, I don't know. I understand what you say about don't say everything. And I think to a point you don't say everything. However, I think when it comes to certain things that are unbiblical, like abuse and adultery, I think those are the things that should be said.
Well, those are the three number one reasons why divorce is really granted in the Bible: abuse, abandonment, and what's all that? Abuse, abandonment, and what's the other one?
Adultery?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I
don't know about like them saying abuse as one, but I know
it could be verbal abuse. It could be any type of abuse. We're not talking abuse.
I'm talking Bible. It being in the Bible, but I'm saying those are, because those number one are crimes. You could be sent to jail for those things, right? Well, not adultery, but that's something that, you know, in the church is like, hello. But I think these things should be addressed in the pulpit. We got a lot of comments. Sister Faye agrees. Either way, they both need help. Yes. Diane saying, if abuse was the reason for the separation, then that needs to be divulged. This will help others that have been living in that hell. It will allow victims and the abusers to get the help they need. Yes. Diane also said, please remember that women can be the abuser as well. Abusive behavior does not discriminate. This is true. It can happen on both sides.
But 9 times
That's
out of
important.
10.
I can't say that 9 times out of 10.
I know, but
there's a lot of men who keep quiet about abuse. A lot of men.
Yeah, there's men out there afraid of their wives.
So I can't say 9 times out of 10, but it does happen.
Yes.
The reverse does happen. I think it's important. I think it's something that should be said from the pulpit, because you know what? Also, a lot of these pastors counsel other couples. That's the other dangerous thing, you know. You tend to look like
that? Or not by me. No,
they counsel couples. Yeah. So when
before they get married or after?
Before who get married?
Why?
Pastors and their wives counsel other couples. So when their marriage breaks down and they're not straight up, what kind of message are you sending to couples that you have counseled? What kind of message do you send to other couples in your church?
What are you saying to the whole congregation? What are you saying to your congregation? Forget about couples.
No, I'm not forgetting about couples, because you are counseling couples.
Yeah.
So if you're counseling couples, you're gonna look like a hypocrite to those couples. It isn't. It's another side of the issue.
Yeah, they're looking
You're
at
dealing with congregation and a whole. But when you're dealing with
guidance.
couples, now you have already counseled them, and now you're not being transparent, or you're not being straight up, or just saying, okay, we're getting divorced. Like what? You told us not to get divorced. You pushed us not. Now you guys are just easily saying you're getting divorced, and you're not going to tell me why? You crazy? You know what I mean? That would be me. That would be me to say that. You're crazy. Now you're not come off of the stage until you tell me what happened. Because I remember when we were in the back room and you were telling me to stay, no, you're going to explain to me right now because I need to understand this. That would be me.
And they're not going to tell you.
Oh, you know what? I haven't been in that situation yet, so I can't say they wouldn't tell me.
God forbid of Pastor Jack and Pastor Jill, who are my pastors, quote unquote. That's not the name of my pastors, but I'm not going to tell you the name of my pastors to respect the both of them.
That's fine. Go on.
I don't want to know. Like, no, man.
You don't want to know. I'm saying I would. If I was in a situation.
They're not going to tell you. They're not.
You could say that for you. For me, if I'm in that situation and they counseled me and told me to stay, no, you got to have answers. I'm sorry. You got to have answers for me.
But let me ask you a question. What makes you different than all those other people that they're congregating, they're the pastors they're leading?
What?
The people that they're leading. Do you want them to tell you specifically?
Because they told me to stay. And I stayed because they counseled me to stay, and I wanted to leave. I'm saying for those people that these pastors have counseled and said, stay, and meantime, you're just going to leave and not even say why. You're just going to divorce and not say why. That would leave a bad taste in my mouth. I know it would leave a bad taste in other people's mouth. It would leave a bad taste in my mouth.
I'll pack up my suitcase. I'm gone.
So what Sister Face, the true thing, Sister Diane, if it goes both ways, we tend to think of abuse as men only, but there are women abusers. Yep. Pastors are there as an extension of God. The church is half filled with people who are in need of healing. But if the leaders are messy, the need to hide will be prevalent throughout. Listen, this is a very hot topic, and I knew it would be. To be transparent right now, my current pastors are going through divorce. They've went through a time of separation back in 2008, and First Lady came back, and now they have announced that they're getting divorced. And it was not my former First Lady, was not able to speak to the congregation. I don't like that. I did not appreciate it, and I know many people didn't appreciate it. I don't like that, and I know it hurt her. I know it hurt her because I know how she is, her heart for people and her church, the people in her church. She has a heart for them. And as a person that is currently going through it, seeing that, I don't like it. Straight up, I don't like how it's going on.
I don't go there, but I don't like it either because it's not. There's three sides to the story. Because the way how it went, we just heard Pastor Jack's side. Okay.
No, we heard her side afterwards, but I'm not talking about sides. I'm talking about the addressing the congregation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He addressed the congregation. Pastor Jack addressed the congregation for both of them.
She didn't address the congregation is my point.
Yeah, but
okay? It's not a matter of what they said.
He did it for both of them on that day.
And that's wrong.
Yeah,
that's wrong. So there's no three sides. That's what he did because he actually did it. And that is wrong. And that's what I'm saying. She should have been able to talk to her congregation. And that is not a good thing. That's something that I'm trying to deal with in myself. With this whole dynamic because it's very public right now, and yeah, that's what's going on. You know what, we're gonna get into some music a little bit and get back into this topic. Come to the chat. You're listening to Radical Riddimz, SPRLIVEFM.com. Come to the chat and YouTube, Streaming Praise Radio channel, and leave your comments. And you can also message me. I didn't check my phone to see if there's a message there, but yeah, we're gonna get into The Anointed Veil, Jesus Love. I love this song. Oh my goodness. SPRLIVEFM.com.
Something about your love, yeah,
Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Your agape love has got a hold on me. Yes, Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Yeah, one, let me start from the top. Morning at the ghetto, mom, me never bust no clock. Asking how come you're my dark spot. Listen to the lyrics, I am coming to that. Me never smoke weed and me never burn crack. Never rap drum, now rap anti-pot. Never jump out of school and do not bad. That's when me know what say a price on my back. Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Yes, your love has got a hold on me. Your agape love has got a hold on me. Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Listen to me, can't believe that your son died for me, sir. We used to sneak around with Nisha and Keisha. But your agape love, me told me that she cleansed me, and right now I am free. Oh gosh, and I can't live a life anymore, 'cause you have proved to me over and over. Your agape love is the only love to keep me pure. Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Something about your love has got a hold on me. Your prosperity and love has got a hold on me. Something about that love has got a hold on me. Telling God the one, let me start from the top. Morning on the ghetto, mom, me never bust no clock. Some asking how comes, come my dark squad. Listen to the lyrics, I am coming to that. Me never smoke weed, never burn crack. Never rap strong, nor rap anti-pot. Never jump out of school and turn down spot. That's when me know say a Christ on my back. Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Yes, your love has got a hold on me. Tell you what the love has got a hold on me. Yes, Jesus, your love has got a hold on me. Follow me now, it's your love. Jesus, your love. Oh boy, the link up, the anointed feeling. Follow me, follow me. Silence.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Là où tout est fermé, c'est là qu'il trace un chemin. J'ai le bâton de Moïse dans la mer rouge, il trace mon chemin. Il conduit le Bugatti, Ferrari. Et moi je conduis le trace ce chemin. Dans ma vie, Dieu agit, je lui confie mon lendemain. Il conduit le Bugatti, Ferrari. Et moi je conduis le trace ce chemin. Dans ma vie, Dieu agit, je lui confie mon lendemain.
Je l'appelle le spécialiste des cas impossibles. Partout il va, Jésus fait du bien. Il surpasse la nature et toutes ses lois. Partout il va, Jésus fait du bien. Les aveugles voient, les stériles enfantent, les sourds entendent, les morts ressuscitent, les boiteux marchent, les muets chantent. Les aveugles voient, les stériles enfantent, les sourds entendent, les morts ressuscitent, les boiteux marchent, les muets chantent.
Il en est ainsi car c'est ce que tu as promis. Et tout ce que tu dis, toujours s'accomplit. Oh, quel que soit le temps que ça va durer, je sais que ce que tu m'as dit, tu le feras certainement. Certainement, car jamais tu ne mens. Je ne peux pas douter de toi, tu es mon Dieu tout puissant, ta fidélité est sans fin, tu t'es ta promesse. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this space. I worship you, I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Let's go,
timing, Papa, oh, always providing.
Always.
Jehovah Jireh, God a provider, always providing, so always on timing.
Where's the Jason Young? Channel answer to the big man.
Hallelujah, glory be to God. Yeah. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. She step by day. I'm stepping and go. Every morning I wake. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. He step by day. I'm stepping and go. Every morning I wake. I'm stepping and go. My God is a million, trillion, richer than 10 billion, 10 billion, trillion, yes. You hear me that the big young million share, 20 million Instagram share. Eyes ever seen, ear ever hear, what then I got prepared. Yes, I know, 10 million, house bigger than 20 billion, gold, table and chair. 40 billion, into Jejaland, out of Babylon, pay fly clothes we are wear. Put we no wear Nike, 1 billion, trillion. And on that day I see the worst I hear. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. He's the right day. I'm stepping and go. Every morning I pray. I'm stepping and go.
Tears up. Me daddy rich, full of collateral. Packing fat, tell him what collateral. Richer than Bill Gates, than not a lot. One of gold and a lot. Who can come here? Not a man. Who can come close? Not another one. Not even King David or Solomon. Pocket money, turn over me caravan. That's why we no worry in our fridge. Not even worry about it. Everything good from God we get. We serve God without regret. Follow God and we not look back. Bible for me phone and in a me book back. God that we Jehovah Jireh. We take what we need and guess what? No,
my father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. He's the right thing. I'm stepping and go. Every morning I pray. I'm stepping and go. Daddy, oh, always providing. Papa, oh, always in timing. Jehovah Jireh, God you're providing, always in timing. Yeah. From me head to me toe, me blessed. Walking in victory, said no need to be stressed. Me wear prosperity, that I me best. Yes. Me daddy money king, me the prince, you know. Own the world, the bank and the bricks. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. My father is a millionaire. I'm stepping and go. He's the right thing. I'm stepping and go. Every morning I wake.
All right, everybody, put those hands together. VP, let's go. Yeah. Come on. Here we go. Jesus is the sweetest name. Jesus, he is the great I am. Oh, Jesus, he died for all of us. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Oh, say, Jesus is the sweetest name. That's something I wear. He is the great I am. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, yeah. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Say, he is the way, the truth, and the life. That's something I wear. Come on. He is the great I am. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. All of us. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is highest. Everything. King of kings. Resurrected. The solid rock. The great I am. Say. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Oh.
Communicating the gospel through music and spoken word via the internet. Streaming Praise Radio.
Was it tumbling? Was it tumbling?
Streaming
down?
Praise Radio, SPRLIVEFM. Gospel. You're listening to Radical Riddimz. I was gonna.
Gospel goodies.
I thought I was gonna get through the
70s,
show
80s, and 90s
without saying gospel goodies. But Radical Riddimz.
I'm gonna put a jar right here every time you say it.
I know.
You put 25 cents.
Radical Riddimz every Sunday from, I was gonna say noon until 2 p.m.
See that?
From 3 until 5 p.m.
50 cents is
Mind
in the
the
jar.
table, mind the table.
Sorry.
Yes. So we're talking. We have a hot topic going on right now, talking about pastors who divorce, what should happen, what shouldn't happen, what is protocol, who they should be mentored by, who counsel should they get, should they sit down. And the Radical Riddimers in our YouTube channel, Streaming Praise Radio, go to our YouTube channel, have all these comments that they're leaving. Listen. We're gonna pretty much stay on topic, stay within that realm of things. I mean, the last thing we spoke about was if there is abuse in it, should it be brought to the church? If there's, adultery, should it be brought to the church? Should it be told? Because there was a comment made that not everything should be told, and but if it comes to those kind of topics, should that be told? So, in going off of that, I wanted to read a scripture, Matthew 18. Everybody get your Bible.
From the King.
Reading from the KJV, because there's no other
Read.
Matthew 18 verses 15 to 17.
Would you like I to read, or you can read?
I'll read it.
All right, you read.
Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he shall hear you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not hear you, then take with you one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. I can read KJV and like put the U's where it's supposed to be. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
so
if you read King James version.
Okay, I mean, I'm reading it. No worries. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he will neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican, tax person, all those things. So
now, commercial break. How many people in the church really do this? None of us do it.
What do we normally do?
We rather go, guess what me here? It's a Pastor Jack, I got divorced, Jill, and
no, when someone has aught, like what do we normally do when someone has?
We don't talk to them. Like if I
just don't talk to the person.
I just don't talk to you. Mm-hmm. I put up that wall, so when I see you,
you write them off.
You write them off because when I see you, you're gonna bring up that old wound again, and spirit of extinction take place.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
I think yes, that does happen. I think the other thing that happens is that they may bring it to the person and say, yo, I didn't like when you did this, right? The person doesn't hear them, and instead of going and bringing somebody else into it, they just say, you know what, forget it, whatever, and they still hurt from it. Is not wrong on that person, but you have an obligation or a right to bring 2 witnesses if it's something that's that big of an issue, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in the case of what we're talking about here, we're talking about pastors divorcing. My other question is when it comes on to, and we're talking about the abuse from a pastor to his wife, if that's like the reason they're getting divorced. What happens if there is abuse, period? Now, we're not necessarily talking about the pastor and his wife. Abuse in the church, whether it be sexual abuse or domestic abuse, violence in the church among congregants, whether it be husbands or wife, or whether it be between one person to another. Okay. Is it okay for the church to handle it? Do you think that the church can handle something like that?
They should.
How? Like in the case of like you could split between domestic violence and sexual abuse. How should the church handle it? How do you think?
You gotta play that Jeopardy, so I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
okay, here we go. If Jack assaulted Jill.
Yeah.
Jill is gonna be brave enough to tell Jack, said, you assaulted me. If Jack denies it, you're gonna go to Joe's gonna go to
whether okay, hold on. I'm not looking at that side of it. I'm looking at it's already been told, because I think
it's already been told to who?
To the leaders in church. I'm asking. I said, should the church handle it? You said they should,
yes.
right? And I'm saying, how should they? That's what I'm asking.
But that's not what the scripture in Matthew says. That if I had an issue, if somebody did something to me, I have to be the one going to that person and say, hey, you did this to me?
How should the church handle it? I'm not talking about the victim. I'm talking the church leaders. If they
take that such a word and sit them down and say, hey, listen, we heard that you did X, Y, Z to a situation happen, your name got kind of situation. We're gonna have to sit you down, like, bro or sis. That's not forbidden. If he doesn't want to take heed, Jack, after what he transpired, then you gotta let the congregation know, as the scripture says. Say, this is what happened. If he doesn't want to hear it from there, then you just treat him like an outsider. You could still say hi and bye to him, but do not associate with him. Plain and simple.
So you're saying the church should sit him down?
Sit him down.
Okay, what about him going to the church if it's dealing with sexual abuse, sexual assault?
Then he's gonna have to have a meeting with that person, and say, this is what we're gonna do.
What is that?
If the church can't handle it, then we're gonna have to go outside the four walls of the church. That means you have to get police.
But how should the church handle it? What does it mean if they can't handle it? Is there something the church should do to handle it, is what I'm asking. Is there something that they can do, should do, what is that? Sister Shireen says, in my past experience, there were a few people that were supportive of me. The pastor didn't really do any. What do you mean, my girl? When I was in a shelter with my kids, the pastor called once.
Okay, that's I hear you on that notion. Wait.
Now that is a common theme with women in the church that have gone through abuse, where the church does nothing and doesn't look for the well-being of the victim.
So in a case like that, that means you're gonna have to take it up on your own and go to authorities then.
I think that should happen either way.
Is that what the scripture says, that we should call the police if the church can't handle it? There's certain things the church should know how they don't have to call. Hold
on. That's talking about offense, right? And I know people use that as a defense to say we should handle it in-house. However, I don't think that's referring to crime.
So what's that referring to?
Offense.
Oh, then in the scripture, out of context, what we're talking about then.
No, because I'm saying people use that as a defense in this situation. And also you can still use this because you're letting the person know there is a process of
how to handle the situation.
There's a process on how to deal with offenses and bringing witnesses and what to do. If you deal with somebody as a heathen, what happens? If they're a heathen, criminal to me is heathen, sinner, you're going to deal with them as a criminal. Therefore, you're going to police, right? To me, I think that we're living in a day and age where crimes like these things, domestic violence and abuse, sexual abuse, should be sent to the police. Yes, you should, because this person is an active member of the church. He may not be in leadership, may not be in ministry, but they're an active member of the church, coming out every Sunday, talking to other females. It is important for the pastor to set guidelines for that individual when they come into the house of God. So when you come into the house of God, you come when church finishes and you leave. You come when church starts and you leave when it ends. You do not talk to anybody else.
Or you could just say you don't have to. Don't come.
To me, it all depends on what it is. It all depends on the severity.
And it says when charges of assault, physical or sexual, it's brought against someone.
No, let's talk so people can hear.
I'm reading to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when charges are assault, when charges of assault, physical or sexual, is brought against someone, the church should investigate. However, the Bible was talking about stuff like gossip and theft. I wasn't told about that. Good morning.
She's quoting, yeah. So,
listen.
Yes, I have the same opinion too. Like, that scripture wasn't necessarily talking about criminal acts.
Oh, then.
But there's still an element of that, even if a criminal act is done against us with somebody in the church. Yes,
then that's
you can
when
tell me, yo, you
authorities.
did me wrong, you did this. But at the same time, yes, you call authorities, but my initial question is there something that the church can do? You can call authorities, but what is the church doing? The church needs to know, because this is an active place where this person is going with other people.
So what should the church do? Tell us.
I did say that.
What?
I did say what they should do.
Go to the authorities.
I said that they should tell the person that when your church start, you come. When church finish, you leave, and you do not have any conversations with any females.
You want that loose cannon after what he did? No, sir.
There's there's ways that you can deal with it. I'm not of the. I believe in rehabilitation. I am a believer in rehabilitation. I'm a believer in change, and there should be the ability to change. If that person is free to walk out of jail, if that person is free to be wherever, they need to know you're not free to do that here. So because certain things have happened, you're gonna have boundaries set, and if you break those rules once, you're out of here.
But
that's it.
You should nip it in about right away, especially when it's sexual assault. You're not gonna have this guy loose cannon walking around now after come to service, because you're gonna have that sirens. It's gonna have sirens going off in ladies' heads. Okay, he's a predator, and rah. And no, you don't want that. And then they're gonna feel a way of coming.
I'm not saying that's the only way, but if you can also let it be known as well. I don't know how legal that is, to be able to let it be known from the pulpit.
You can't.
I don't know how legal that is.
Can't do that.
But at the same time, when it comes to sexual predator, it is public. They are on a list, right? And it is public. So that's why I'm saying I don't know how free pastors are to be able to say that from the pulpit. There are a couple of comments. When it comes to sexual assault, it is of extreme importance that the leaders bring it to the police. You cannot have a sexual predator roaming around. You know, it's unfortunate for some pastors to choose what they want to address, but I feel that every situation should be addressed. Yes, in my experience, leaders don't do jack until it
hits their circle.
It hits their circle. That's very true as well. This is a very hot topic. The show is almost over, and I think we're gonna talk about this next week again.
It's gonna be like good times.
It's just gonna be me next week.
I might call
next
in.
week, so
it depends.
We will definitely talk about this again next week, more in detail. Radical Riddimz, I thank you so much for giving your, I'm not even gonna call it 2 cents, your opinions today on this topic. And also I have to apologize to those that are just signing back in. We had technical issues with the station, so you missed a portion of what we were saying earlier. This was a hot topic, and that's why I'm gonna bring it up again next week. Definitely. So I know, right?
The week after. No joke.
What song should I end off? I think I'm gonna end with Blessed Messenger.
No, I think you should end off with Caesar and
I'm gonna end off with Blessed Messenger, Fire. But I want you guys to listen right after this is Cheryl Underwood with Spiritual Nourishment, and at 7 p.m. hands clapping, foot stomping with none other than Brother Benji.
Bring your choir free, bring your robe.
Yes, choir music, hands clapping, foot
bring
stomping.
Bring your choir free. It's only $1.99.
Don't want to miss it. Y'all have a blessed week. Hot topic today. Blessed week.
Blessed messenger. Oh, na. The
Blue Jays are winning 11-1.
Fire